Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel, The Dharma Bum Show. And we could be broadcasting from all sorts of locations. Right now, we're broadcasting from our home here under the holly tree. And it is a holly tree, an evergreen. It's very protective and very serene up here. It is a Sunday. We're in a recreational area, so there could be people about. The dogs might bark, and if you have dogs and you have me on a speaker, your dogs might bark too. So I guess, first of all, a couple of things that I want to say right off the bat. Okay, you're not going to see on this channel me spinning the little prayer wheel. All right. It's not that I don't spin the little prayer wheel, and I recommend that you spin the little prayer wheel too. But I'm an American and a Westerner, and I just can't chew gum and walk at the same time, much less try to do a YouTube video that makes any sense at all and spin that prayer wheel. So, and I have my mala here, right? But it's, to be in all transparency, the context is a prop, because I doubt that I'll even remember to push the beats. And on top of it all, I have cheat notes. So, but anyway, welcome to Camp Terrapin. This is what we call this place, this space where we live in a very rustic manner. I've talked about that in the first two videos on the channel. And I guess the first thing I want to say is, the reason you're not going to see spinning prayer wheels and that sort of thing is I'm not a monk. I'm not a teacher. I'm going to just sort of offer some opinions, and I guess to the purpose of this channel, at least at first, will be opinions geared towards the community around the YouTube channel, and I believe the name is @ultimate_meaning, but I'll make sure to link in the description below. And that's kind of a community that's formed around this very wonderful man and monk from Nepal. I've had some communication with him over YouTube, and he encouraged me to make videos, so this is your call. But no spinning prayer with it, so sorry. And so a lot of it, I think that he has really resonated with me, this monk. A lot of what he's had to say about Vajrayana Buddhism here in the West. And so I really wanted to, and so I think a lot of these videos will be reflective, at least at first, upon his sort of videos and the things that he has to say on his on the YouTube channel there. Because and I think that in that sort of vein, it should be also pointed out that as a Westerner, I'm not going to feel obliged to be as polite, perhaps, as he is with some of the things that he has to say. I'm going to be a little bit more blunt because I am a Westerner, born and raised all my life here in America. And so it could be that perhaps I will have more direct and stronger opinions that maybe a polite Nepalese company wouldn't express on their YouTube channels. Who knows? There'll always be honest opinions, but sometimes I think I'll probably be very direct with what I have to say. But it's not going to be teachings. It's just a little bit of sort of wisdom and knowledge, and I guess I'll tell a little bit about myself. I was raised, first of all, born and raised on a horse ranch in the backwoods of Maine. Built a few cabins with a chainsaw and not much more, so been there, done that. And I took a bachelor's degree in comparative religion, double major actually, comparative religion, but at the time it was called world religions and a Western philosophy. And so I took a double major, took a bachelor in that, PhD. Um, I'm currently studying online Buddhist philosophy using an online, I believe it's called the Online Learning Institute app. I don't know how to look it up, but I'll link to that also in the description if you're interested. I'm studying Tibetan Buddhist philosophy over there. And I'm 60 years old. I've been a Buddhist for 14 years. I converted from Catholicism, so I suppose use your judgment with that as to my relative sanity, right? And what I have to say on this channel. So I guess the last thing I want to say is way of introduction. You know, the first couple of videos, I received some wonderful remarks and praise, especially um, from my new monk friend about the way that we live here at Camp Terrapin and the way that me and the boys live. You can see the boys here around me in the camp. Like I said, they're likely to bark at me in time if something weird happens. Um, but I just want to say, first of all, it's my own choice to do this, and it is eccentric by any measure, really. Um, I find it really quite wonderful, not even the least heroic, and in a way, sort of almost cheating as far as Western life goes, because our life is quite easy. It's difficult in a labor sense, a lot of physical work, which that's the trade-off. Um, but other than that, it's quite liberating, and I get to spend all my time on either my boys or the Dharma, and that's what I was shooting for. And I got what I asked for. It's not for everybody, and it's not the only path to enlightenment by far. It is a ridiculous life choice from a Western perspective, and I do not encourage anybody to try this at home. Um, Stay where you are, and you'll be fine. And between maybe definitely listening to the channel Ultimate Meaning, and then maybe a little bit of glimmer of things from my video and others, just you'll be fine. So, but don't take it as any kind of thing that this is, oh my God, I'm somebody special, and the things I have to say are somehow special because this ridiculous dude living out of a garden wagon here in Northern California. That's not that. Please believe me, that's not true. um, So I think that a lot of what I've seen on the Ultimate Meaning channel and what's really captured me, and I've been watching it for a while, has been my new friend explaining the pitfalls of sort of Westerners entering the stream by way of Vajrayana Buddhism, right? But so encountering Vajrayana Buddhism. And there are a huge lot of pitfalls, and I think he's really nailed a bunch of them right on the head. And so, I kind of wanted to go over some of them that I discovered independently, but it's I sort of heard echoed directly or indirectly in the videos over at Ultimate Meaning. So when you make the choice to take refuge in the Vajrayana school, a lot of Westerners, and I'm sorry to say this is one of those frankly honest parts, okay, that might be rough for some of you to hear, but a lot of Westerners, I think, come to Vajrayana Buddhism by way of the Tibetan liberation movement. Okay, let's face it, it's especially in sort of left politics. It's a very popular movement, as it should be. Frankly, I support it. Okay, but the point is, I mean, I got to be honest. From my perspective, that's a silly reason to choose a religion to join. But I mean, that's again being brutally honest. And if you've reflected on it and you find that that is the reason you joined, then it's fine. It doesn't mean you got to quit Vajrayana Buddhism. It just means to just look at that, okay, um, and then just inform yourself of that, and then make a firewall between that. Especially if you're going to indulge in any sort of activism or anything like that. You know, be humble. You know, you're not fighting for your own country. You are fighting for somebody else's. But just separate that completely from your spiritual endeavors. Um, and to be honest with you, there's a lot of people who do support it. They won't miss you if you decide to just sort of, cheer from the rear on that one. Um, Ecclesiastic politics. Okay, come on, man. I'm a former Catholic. Okay, uh, man, don't get hung up on this stuff. All right, don't even, especially when you're a Westerner coming in contact with something as frankly foreign culturally as Vajrayana Buddhism. Um, it's dubious that you can even, in a lifetime of study, gain enough insight into what's going on there to even have an informed opinion. I'll give you an example, and I'm not even going to get into it. You'll never see a video about this on my channel, but the Karmapa thing. Okay, so like, man, these people have been attempting to find these reincarnations, and quite successfully, many times, but not always, and they admit that. They've been hunting for these reincarnations for 1,000 years. They're experts at it. You as a Westerner barely probably understand the language, the culture, definitely the stream, the history of ecclesiastical politics, nothing. You've got nothing to go on to have an opinion in that. You have no, as we say where I come from in Maine, you have no pony in that race. And it doesn't matter who the Karmapa is or how any of that pans out in the long run to you, to your enlightenment, to your practice of Vajrayana Buddhism. It has no, as a Westerner, it has no bearing. And so, I mean, and it should also not have a bearing on your faith, because there is an element of faith in anything. I mean, even Buddha admitted, took a little bit of faith, you have to at least take his word for it and give it a try, right? And so, but it should not affect your faith in Vajrayana Buddhism a single bit, because this has been going on for 1,000 years. You've gotten it right far more times than they've gotten it wrong. And, it is what it is. It's human institution. It's ecclesiastic politics. Just stay out of it unless you're trying to become unless you're a lama. I mean, what possible pony do you have in that race? So stay out of it. Don't worry about it. Don't let it trouble you. And certainly don't let it shape your faith in any part of Vajrayana Buddhism, including the wonderful part that I think is a wonderful part, which is the reincarnation of the Lamas, the Rinpoches, the Tulkas, and the search for them. I think it's a part of our common faith. But don't get hung up on it to the point where you let it affect your either your faith in Vajrayana or in Buddhism, and don't again don't waste a lot of time on it too, because you can spend hours surfing YouTube videos about just again the Karmapa thing. And how many hours could you spend in prayer? I'd rather spend it with my dogs, to be honest with you. So, and then finally, the other thing that is inescapable to Westerners when we come in contact with Vajrayana Buddhism, especially if you begin as I did studying, Theravada and Mahayana Buddhism before I converted, before I took refuge, as we say. Um, then you know that the one thing that's very unique about Vajrayana Buddhism is Tantra. And this is where, again, on the Ultimate Meaning channel, we've seen some videos, talks about magic and levitating monks. I hope I see him levitate on this YouTube channel, man. I'm going to remember I was one of the first followers, man. I'm going to bring that up. Maybe I'll write a book about it. But I don't think it's going to happen, and I think the magic is in a different place. I think if you look for it, the magic is there, but it's not in levitating monks. And with Tantra is strong medicine, first of all, and it's not all Vajrayana Buddhism. You can be a lifetime Vajrayana Buddhist and reach enlightenment, I might add, and awakening eventually, without ever doing Tantra. Okay, so if it proves too daunting a concept as a Westerner, and I can totally understand that, really, totally understand that. But if it becomes too daunting as a Westerner, then just simply lay it down and go back to your core practice. Meditate, sit, study scripture, come back around to it. But remember that it's strong medicine. It's designed primarily to crack open the worldview of people whose worldview is particularly calcified. If yours isn't already, if you're already open-minded to Buddhism, Tantra is going to be even extra strong medicine, right? It's got and so go slow, go easy with it. Maybe I'll do a couple of videos on it, my views on it, and how I've approached it. But remember that the core practice is the most important part, and then going forth, I mean, becoming part of the Vajrayana Buddhist community, finding a Sangha. I think that one of the things that I think is important is, and that I'll do some videos about, is not to be afraid of technology. I think there's a place for the internet Sangha. I think there's a place for VR in Sangha, in Buddhist practice, and I think a powerful place. I might talk some about that on this channel. I think the title of this video really sums it up. Don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, just stick with, and when you look for people who teach on YouTube, the various monks and lamas and rinpoches and tokas, look for people, I mean, first of all, who just your gut will tell you are speaking with some sort of authority, and then also look for people who speak with equanimity, people who speak with equanimity. You'll know it when you see it, right? So always try to sort of gravitate to that. I'm going to leave the comments open on all my YouTube videos. Feel free to call me out on any faux pas or horrific doctrinal errors or anything like that. I know that people might ask. So I'll say that, yes, we're happy to receive donations. We have a small cadre of people here in California who support us, but please, first of all, nothing more than $500. That's just ridiculous, and I'll give it to Ultimate Meaning. I mean, and let him have it. I mean, we don't need anything more than that. That's ridiculous. So, and then there's some links in the description and also in the description of the channel if you feel like that's something you want to do. I suppose if anybody does send a few bucks, what I'll do is I'll spend it on making more YouTube videos. Get a tripod because my camera is up on a on a stack of boxes on top of the wagon, right? So, I mean, maybe get a microphone or whatever, and do more videos. So, if you like it, give a like and subscribe. And if you feel like donating, I'll make sure there's like links in the description of the video and channel. Give modestly. Give. There are much better causes than us, and there's nothing that we have a burning need for. So, me and my baby boys are fine. We say hello from Northern California. I'd like to just offer you my own personal blessing, all of you who watch this video, and may your week be auspicious. Thank you. Did it work?